Hello, my name is David Belcher. I'm a classical guitarist from North Carolina in the United States. If you're just now finding this channel, welcome. You may notice that I don't post all that regularly to this channel, and there's good reason for that. I am the community manager at an online guitar school called Classical Guitar Corner Academy. It's a full-time job that keeps me quite busy. I'm also an instructor there, and so I record a lot of videos for that particular job. And so when I get off work, I tend not to want to record videos and kind of update all of you on the progress of other things that I'm doing, like this project that I'd like to tell you about today. So I have several ongoing projects that I'm working on. But in this video, I'd like to talk about an arrangement that I've been working on. So for about the past year or so, I've been working on an arrangement of one of Johann Sebastian Bach's cello suites. When I first graduated from college with an undergraduate degree in classical guitar, I applied to many different graduate programs. And one of the places that I auditioned was Austin Peay State University, which is where Stanley Yates at the time taught. And he was one of my favorite guitarists. I was really into his cello suites at that time. He has a very popular book of arrangements of all of Bach's 6 cello suites. And I played for him, not his edition, I played a different edition. In my audition, I played one of the preludes from a Bach cello suite. And I had a lesson with him. I was there for like 2 days. And so I had a lesson with Stanley, I auditioned. There was a guitar festival happening at the time, so I got to see a bunch of master classes, such as a young Matt Palmer actually was doing a master class with Julian Gray, and I remember it was on the Carnival of Venice by Tariga. A lot of fun. But after that lesson that I had with Stanley, I was really inspired to dig in even more into the cello suites. And so I first started working on the Cello Suite No. 2. And in Stanley's arrangement, it's in A minor. And most of the editions, most of the editions you'll find are in A minor, because it just sits really well on the instrument. But fairly recently, within the past 5 to 6 years, I arranged the 6th cello suite for guitar, which is in D major. And I thought it would be a really cool thing to pair the D major suite, which is a little bit of a higher register suite. It's written for a 4-string cello with a little bit of a higher range, so it fits really well on the guitar, to kind of pair that higher, brighter sound with the darker, lower register sound of the original key of D minor of the 2nd cello suite. So that's what I've been working on for the past year, is Cello Suite No. 2, BWV 1008 in D minor by Johann Sebastian Bach. And any of you who have worked with arrangements before, you know that there are all kinds of compromises that come with the arranging process. And especially with Bach's music, there's a purity to his music that is held sacred by many listeners. And so you best not fool too much with what Bach wrote. So there's an impetus to be faithful to the original while also contributing something new. I've tried to do that with my arrangement here. First of all, there aren't too many arrangements in D minor. I don't even know of any published editions that are in D minor for guitar. I have tried to stick to the original in many places. For instance, in the prelude, it's almost one-to-one from the cello to the guitar, but there are some things I change. And then in other places, I add quite a bit more, change some things a little bit more. I mentioned the compromises. So for instance, the cello, it goes down to a low C, and we just can't do that. And there's so many places where we have a low C that pop up in this particular suite, and usually we have to bump those up an octave. And that changes the texture and how voices interact. And so there's a lot of management that's required whenever you have some of those compromises to deal with. But we can also take note of the things that the cello does well that we can't do, but also the things that the guitar can do well that the cello can't. For instance, we can really play a lot of chords together as block chords, whereas on the cello with the bow, they have to bow in an arc across the bridge, and so it sounds more like a rolled chord. notes split up, or where those notes are split. And we have a little bit more control over polyphony on the guitar than is possible on the cello. So there's a lot of implied polyphony that Bach kind of creates this texture where you can tell there are more than one voice interacting. There is more than one voice interacting. And we can make that a bit more explicit on the guitar through the way that we do beaming and rhythms, but also adding harmonic texture in some places, even adding voices in others. So I've tried to balance all of those compromises to create something that's both true to the original as much as possible, while also adding something new. So I'd like to play for you the Sarabande from this suite to give you a little taste of the work that I've been doing. I think it illustrates pretty well the balance of true to the original while also adding some new things along the way. So this is the Sarabande from BWV 1008, Cello Suite No. 2 in D minor by Johann Sebastian Bach. I hope you enjoy.